It's a presidential election year, and that means we're hearing a lot about the so-called evangelical voter in the media. The leading Republican contenders are fighting hard to win those coveted evangelicals. But this crazy primary season has one evangelical leader shunning the term altogether. Dr. Russell Moore heads the Southern Baptist Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. In a recent Washington Post editorial, he said he's begun to hate the word evangelical, and for now, he's just calling himself a gospel Christian. And he joins us now for more by Skype. Dr. Moore, thank you for being with us.
Great to be with you.
First of all, in your editorial, you write the word evangelical right now is almost meaningless and is actually subverting the gospel of Jesus Christ. How so?
Well, for a number of reasons. So one reason is that it seems that secular media often use evangelical in ways that aren't consonant with a theological definition. And so we hear in exit polls about evangelicals voting a certain way or doing certain things in a way that assumes that evangelical is primarily a political category. And then when you look at how this is being used, there's no differentiation between people who actually, for instance, go to church and people who simply identify themselves as evangelical Christian, which in the Bible Belt would mean anybody who's not Catholic, even if that person is drunk right now and hasn't been to church since someone took him to Vacation Bible School back in the 1980s. And so it's not a very helpful term. And then you add to it the often buffoonish and cartoonish behavior of some so-called evangelical leaders over the past 6 months in ways that have actually subverted the meaning of the gospel. I think that causes the term to become problematic. I'm not giving up on it. I think we need to reclaim it. But right now, it needs a lot of explanation.
Okay. Now, do political candidates exploit evangelicals? You kind of hinted to that just a moment ago.
Yes, political candidates have exploited evangelicals for many years. And so I think now what we see, though, is that evangelicalism is not monolithic. And so there are very different theological and generational streams of evangelical Christians. And so to lump someone who is theologically defined, gospel-centered, in with, say, prosperity gospel teachers just isn't, there's not enough commonality there to put us into the same stream.
Okay, now you're critical of what you call high-profile old guard evangelicals for proving its critics right. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that for years and years, secular progressive critics have said that evangelical activists, at least, really aren't concerned about values, morality, the things that they say. They're simply concerned about political power. Well, we've seen this year one candidate in particular who has openly said that he's never asked for forgiveness from God, never repented of his sins. And we've had some evangelical Christians who've claimed him as a Christian and who have said that he is a Christian. Well, that is contrary to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so there are some evangelical leaders who have proven that when it comes to saying, for instance, character matters. We've had people who stood up and gave stem-winding speeches back during the Clinton years about character matters, and rightly so, who are now telling us that, well, personal character really doesn't matter in terms of political leaders. Well, that gives every reason for cynical outsiders to say these people are just using the moral as a means to get to the majority, not the other way around. And I think unfortunately that's going to cause a lot of people to have cynicism toward the active, vibrant, gospel-centered evangelical Christians that we have working now all over the world.
Now, you actually do have high regard for the term evangelical. Why does it mean so much to you?
Well, I have high regard for it because it's rooted in the evangel, the word for gospel. And so what evangelicalism is a movement that is defined and clearly emphasizes the gospel of Jesus Christ. So when we're at our best, we're the people who are known for speaking very clearly about sin and the need for atonement, about the life, death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and about the offer of the gospel that comes to every single person to repent and believe and to be united to Christ, and therefore to be reconciled to God and to one another. And so it's a great term with great meaning, and it's one that after we get through all of this fevered nonsense that we're going through in American culture right now, we're going to need to reclaim.
Well, some might say that evangelicals need a rebranding, but you say that you want to reclaim it, the term. Is that actually even possible?
Well, I don't think we need to rebrand. I think we need to repent. And by that, I mean we need to stop tolerating lunatics and heretics in places of leadership, speaking for evangelicals. We need to say evangelicalism is defined around the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so if people are acting in ways contrary to the gospel, then we need to stand up and say so. And it also means that we need to have the kind of evangelical leadership that can represent and channel the next generation of evangelicals who are deeply theologically defined. They're confessionally rooted. They are articulating the gospel clearly and the meaning of the gospel clearly. And that demands better leadership than what we have had.
Dr. Russell Moore, thank you so much for joining us, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, and you as well.
Thank you.